Hello everybody, welcome on in. Happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, July 6th of 2023. If you are new around here, I'm Astrologer Victoria from Your Wings of Ascension, and today we are going to break down our daily horoscope. We're going to talk about the nodes that have hit 0 degrees. We're going to break down this yod, and we're going to talk about what this actually looks like in reality, not just the energy feels, because that can get a little too woo-woo, if you know what I mean. It's kind of hard to bring it into the material world. So we're going to break it down and make it make sense for you. I feel like I need a fun transition-y noise when this comes up, like a little jingle. We'll figure that out one day, right? So the nodes have shifted into 1 degree. Our south node down here in Scorpio, our north node up here in Taurus. So just to clarify, the nodes always move in a retrograde motion. That is their normal. So 0 degrees is actually the last degree for the signs to be in. And I can make this conversation a little more personal. We'll bring it up and make it personal. So the 0 degrees of the sign is the most pure expression, period. No matter what, 0 degrees of anything is its most pure expression of that sign. So when the nodes are at the 0 degree point, we are feeling them very intensely as that zodiac field. Our north node being in Taurus, we are feeling a need to use the elements, to use the different things like our sight, our feel, our taste, our feelings, all of these things to create something beautiful and long lasting. Taurus is all about beauty and value that lasts. So we're building whatever is in your soul's purpose, building something to last that has value. If we look at our south node, where we're moving away from, this is in Scorpio. Scorpio is the detective. Scorpio burns it down to rebuild it to make it better. The shadow side of Scorpio is that of being very sneaky, very manipulative. It can be kind of distrustful and deceitful. And when we're talking about our south node, we tend to fall into the shadows because we're falling into what's easy. And it can be a little bit easier to tell a lie than to tell the hard truth, right? Is that where we want to go? Of course not. We want to move forward in the best way possible. So leaning into this Taurus north node is where we want to go. But if we look at the rest of the chart, we have this, I have to move around to see, this yod that's been building, and the yod is starting with Neptune in sextile to Pluto. Let's look at just that. Neptune sextile to Pluto is a positive conversation. We know sextiles are very easy. They work together very nicely. Not as easy as a trine where it just completely vibes. There is a little bit of having to work, but overall it's just a really nice conversation. So we're using the Neptune and Pisces retrograde to feel into our intuition, to feel into our spiritual truth, and to clear away the fog, the lies, the deception. And what are we clearing that away from? Well, in this instance, Pluto and Capricorn, which is also in retrograde. Pluto Capricorn is about structures, systems, government, institutions. When it's in retrograde, we are redefining and restructuring these things. So what hasn't been working has to be brought down and built again. That's what Pluto does. Neptune is helping us to cut through all of the lies to create better going forward. Now, this yod has this beautiful sextile, and it's focusing its energy up here to Mars. So we have this focal point of energy of this changing of the guard, if you will, coming to Mars. Mars being our action center. It is why we do what we do and how we do what we do. So Mars in Leo is all about our heart center. It's our passions, our burning desires. Let's break down Mars a little bit. We know what it means in Leo, but let's look at the quality and the aspects to Mars. Mars is right here next to Venus. So this is intense in and of itself because you have your heart in Leo, and now you have Venus in Leo and Mars in Leo. It is passion. If you don't feel it deeply within your soul, you ain't interested. That's just how it is. So this yod, where we're feeling that we need to take systems down and build them to be better, we have a intense, burning desire. This doesn't mean that this is an easy thing, mind you, because these systems and structures that have been in place, either in our own life or on a collective scale, have been here for a long time. We're used to them. And when you make big change, it's not always easy. But because we feel so deeply in our hearts that it has to change, we are now being forced to make that change. It's like 90-something degrees here. I'm sorry. It's just so hot. Whew. Now let's take a step further into Mars. Where is Mars? While it is wide, we are still feeling this square to Uranus. Anything else, or can I go big screen? Nah, there's other things. So let's just talk about Mars Uranus. We've been talking about this because this is something that's coming through. We've been dealing with it for a while. We have our burning passions and desires squaring off with the planet of rebellion. So we're feeling like, yo, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. Okay? You ain't gonna control me. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And there's a lot of friction there, being told what to do versus, I'm gonna do what I want to do. So this whole yod, which is feeling this burning passion to make change, is being met with this uncomfortable square of, I ain't gonna conform, I'm gonna do it my way. Can you see how this is starting to grow to be a very, very intense moment? Let's look further. Mars is also the dispositor of our south node. So we are feeling the south node very, very activated by this yod, this needing to make change. Let's add in one more layer to it because, of course, why not, universe? The moon is down here in Aquarius and it is finishing up today. Guess what? The moon is going to oppose both Venus and, you guessed it, Mars. So this is going to bring about this imbalance of what I need, what I want versus what the collective wants, what the collective needs. It's this, I need you to understand me, and the collective, I guess I have to understand that too. It's a teeter-totter back and forth feeling. So put it all together, that's what we're going to do. So we take all of this together. We know Neptune, Pluto. We feel intuitively, we know spiritually, change has to happen. The systems and structures have to come crashing down to get rebuilt. The energy is being pinpointed to Mars, our burning heart's desire, passion to make change, which is squaring up to Uranus, where we're being told what to do and we are fighting back and saying, I ain't listening no mo. I'm gonna do it my way. And what can happen with Mars being the dispositor of the south node? We can fall into that scorpion field of complete just ickiness. We can fall into the energy of deceitfulness, of lies, of destruction for the sake of destruction, especially with Mars here. Mars is the planet of war, remember. It's not necessarily on a righteous path like Pluto is. Pluto burns it down to make it better. Mars can just burn it down to burn it down. So we have to be extremely careful that we aren't throwing everything away just to throw it away to say, up you to the man, right? Because that's incredibly, incredibly potent energy right now that we're feeling. We have to hold true with our soul's purpose going forward, using that 0 degrees of North Node Taurus. And we have to hold on to the sacred truths in our hearts. We have that quincunx exact today. I'll pull it up. Exact between, there's a lot covering them, but if I were to clean it off, and I'll clean it off so you can see it. Neptune is at 2740. Mars is at 2740. This is the exact quincunx between the two. So our intuitive knowing, our spiritual knowing, is in this weird conversation with our action where it's like, no, I don't get you. Why are you doing what you're doing? Neptune is sitting there going, you know this doesn't feel right for you, right? You know that this is not on your spiritual path. You know this isn't where you need to be, and your center of all of your drives is like, nah, I just want to do it because it feels good. We've got to continue moving forward. I say all the time, and I double down, hold true to the sacred truths in your heart, because you can be tempted to fall into the pits of the ugliness right now. Discernment is so important. Knowing what is true and real, both in your soul and from the collective, is so important. We have so much noise. Anytime we have Neptune in retrograde, there's a lot of outside noise trying to stop our intuitive knowing. So we have to hold deeply, deeply on to the truths within our hearts and our intuitive connection to higher self and to spirit. This is a lot. This is not necessarily going to be an easy time. I'm going to be honest. We can use this for growth. I have Venus, Pluto in my chart, so I'm all about burn it down. Let's change it. But I understand for the collective, this is not an easy time. So feeling into this change could be difficult. But understand, more than anything, this is all by divine plan. The astrology does not lie. This is God's will that is happening, and it is for our highest good. Like I've said 100 times before, we all know the systems ain't working anymore. It's time to make change. We have a ton of pointed, laser-focused energy to get that done. Use that in your own life, not just think on the collective. As I tell you every time, though, you've got this, we've got this. I love you all, and I will see you for Friday.